Welcome to the Social Emotional Acuity Bridge, or C-Bridge, demo. In this introductory video, we are going to show you around Workshop 1.2, Being Together, Being Me, which you have access to as part of the demo. We'll also be showing you 2 additional workshops so you can see some of the other fun and engaging activities this curriculum has in store. The full C-Bridge subscription consists of 40 plug-and-play workshops that you can use right away to start authentically supporting the autistic and neurodivergent youth that you work with. Let's get started.
This is workshop 1.2. It's called Being Together, Being Me, and it features the Insight Sprite dot. When you look through here, you can see that there are a few notes here. There are workshop handouts that you can print out before you start if you're doing a group session or individual sessions. There's also the infographic, which we'll get to in just a minute. And then we have homework and family resources. So we have the Nurturing Neurodiversity, which is available for families. And then we have the workshop homework. So Being Together, Being Me is the second workshop in our series. We start each of our workshops in the same way. So we start by going over our plan for the day. We completed a survey and focus groups of autistic adults prior to creating the curriculum. And one of the pieces of feedback that we got was that it's very important to have a similar structure for each of the workshops. So that's what we do. This is our Insight Sprite world. We start with a welcome. This is a welcome song. All of our music was created by Lindsay Monroe and Raffi. If you'd like to listen to the Insight Sprite song, you can just click on this button here. I'll let you do that on your own time. So when we're looking here at the Insight Sprite world, there's a few things to note. All of these sprites are modeled after autistic and neurodivergent characteristics. So for example, this is Miko. Miko has bumps on their arms and feet because they're sensitive to textures in those areas. Dot has a circle ball for a foot because they like to spin. They also are very good at taking things apart and putting them back together again. Flynn is very creative. Flynn also has a bluebird on their hat because they like to sing. This is Bodhi. Bodhi is very fast in the way that they move, the way that they think, and the way that they speak. Jade is our AAC user. Jade also has a large nose because they're sensitive to smells. So all of these Insight Sprites were all really carefully crafted to represent strengths of those with neurodivergent characteristics, as well as some of the sensitivities that they experience. The next portion of our workshop is, it's kind of a give me. When we heard from our autistic collaborators, one of the things that they said was really important was to have something that was really easy, an easy way to kind of slide into being together as a part of a group. That's really important for both our AAC users as well as children that may be slow processors. So having something that they can either get ahead of the workshop and have an answer prepared, or if that's not necessary for the group of kids that you're working with or the individual that you're working with, just a nice way to kind of warm up and get going in the workshop. Here's where we really start getting into the meat of the workshop. So again, this is Being Together, Being Me. This is really our answer to social skills. So whereas whole body listening would say, in order to be together and for me to know that you're listening to me, you need to have your eyes on me, have your feet still, your body quiet. What we're really getting at in this workshop is that being together, there are certain expectations like listening and communicating, but being me within those times can look really differently for different people. So for example, some people fidget while they listen, or they look around, or they draw. And there are lots of different ways to communicate using Voice is one way, but you can also use your face to communicate, AAC, or gestures. And so really what we're working on here is just sort of validating all different styles of being me when we're together with other people. Now we're going into the workshop activity itself. We have lots of different kinds of activities. This one is a story, but we also have what we call acted out, which I'll show you next. We have puppet shows, games, creative art activities, videos, lots of different things to keep kids really engaged. So in this workshop, we see Dot. Again, this is the second workshop in the series. So kids are just getting to know Dot. They're getting to know the Inside Sprite world. And so we follow Dot as they go through their day. And we see that Dot is able to participate in ways that are really comfortable for them. So while there is an expectation when Dot arrives at school, Bridget's waiting for them and says good morning. Sometimes Dot isn't ready to talk when they first get to school, and that's okay. And Dot is remembering what it means to be together while being me. So I get to communicate in the way that works best for me. And when you go through this story, you'll find lots of different examples of different ways that the sprites communicate, listen, play, and interact with one another, all validating different styles of thinking, communicating, and being. Let's see here. Okay, after we have gone through the workshop activity, we get into the discussion. This is an opportunity for the educator to really take what it is that the kids have learned from the Inside Sprite world and apply it to their own world. So here we're really talking about how does this idea of being together while being me really apply to me and my community, in my family, in my classroom. We have several discussion questions. We recommend that educators just briefly glance through them in advance to decide which ones they want to start with. And then be flexible for paying attention to what it is that the students are showing you in terms of their willingness to keep going, their desire to keep going, or if they're ready to stop. This is the homework. So there's a homework activity included with each of the workshops. This one is playing and participating my way. So this is a printable homework worksheet. And students will print this out at home and then bring it back to their teacher the next time, or share it with their teacher or educator remotely using a screen share. And then in the same way that we start using the same song, we end using the same song. So this is the song Whatever You Choose, written by Raffi. And that's the general structure of the workshops. I'm going to hop into the next one here. You can see these same materials are available. And here, this is workshop 1.3. So this is the third workshop in the series. Again, same sort of plan for the day. We have our Inside Sprite song. We have our warm-up question. Now in this one, we're really looking at similarities and differences. And we're thinking about similarities as things that create commonality and differences create diversity. And that really there's quite a bit of value in each and finding commonality between people and in recognizing diversity. So this is an example of an acted out. And you'll find when you hover here, these faces of the characters, so the Dot and Flynn, light up. You can click here and the character will read these little quotes. And we're really fortunate. We have autistic voice actors for all of our characters. And we really wanted this to be an activity where readers, non-readers, mouthword users, and AAC users all really can come together and participate in the very same activity without there needing to be accommodations. So you can have a mouthword user act as Dot, read the lines, and an AAC user acts as Flynn and press the buttons, and they're really participating truly together. So again, we go through the similarities and differences between Dot and Flynn, and then we get into our discussion. So again, that learning arc that really ties our curriculum together, we're starting in a very safe space, the space of the Insight Sprite world. And in that space, children recognize themselves and the characters, but it's also set aside. When they get to the discussion, they're able to really see how these concepts come to play in their lives, in their communities. And then we go to the homework. And in the homework, we're able to see how this really affects me as an individual. So it's a really nice way of dipping a toe into these kind of challenging topics, and then really being able to take them back to ourselves. And again, ending with our favorite song there. Okay. This is an example of understanding the differences between needs and wants. So one of the things that we heard from our collaborators is that really being able to identify what is a need and what is a want in order to really advocate for your needs, and identifying those individual needs, recognizing that we have maybe different needs individually than we do globally, and being able to really talk about those. So that's what this workshop works on. Here the characters meet Gizmo, the robot dog, who is a class sidekick. So we go through a story here, and we get to a point where Gizmo enters, and we go into a video. So I'm going to let you watch this video on your own, but you'll see the video examples go through needs, wants, individual needs, and what happens when two people have competing individual needs. And then again, to the discussion, the homework, and the closing. And that is the C-Bridge. I'm looking forward to answering any questions. Feel free to contact me, katrina.martin@bridgeslearningsystem.com. Thanks so much.